wrapped your arms around me, Jesus. You wrapped your arms around me, Jesus. And that's the way.
Check, check, 1, 2. We begin with breaking news.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness. With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at noon.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us here on Eyewitness News at noon. I'm Lori Mitchell. It is Monday, June 5th, and a gloomy start to our day. We have some showers out there. Let's bring in Nick Austin, who's in for David Carnes, to talk about the weather. Hi, Nick.
Yeah, it's cloudy.
It
and
is.
It's kind of wet and dreary out there and muggy. It's not going to rain all day. It'll kind of be off and on like it has been this morning. So we'll take a look outside right now. Our live downtown Holiday Inn camera. Yeah, there's a shot of the cloud cover. The rain is letting up a little bit here in the city. So it's we don't have any downpours right now, but the roads are slick. It's 72 degrees. And out at the airport, they've had almost a half an inch of rain so far this morning. Here at the station, we've had about 0.8 of an inch. So just depending on your exact location will depend on how much rain you're getting. The heaviest rain now is moving to the north and east of the city. And there's a little more rain back to the west of us over Alabama, but it's been fading out. It's all moving in a northeasterly direction, and we'll just see these kind of waves of showers and some thunderstorms too as we go through the rest of the day. So keep that in mind. On and off rain. We'll have highs in the lower 80s later today, and I'll have your 7-day forecast and more coming up in a bit.
Nick, thank you. We begin this hour with some breaking news. A shooting at a business in Orlando has left 5 people dead. Officials say it happened at a worldwide business that provides accessories to RVs. 3 men and 1 woman were pronounced dead on scene, and a 5th person has been transported or was transported to the hospital and later died. Officials say the gunman shot 5 people and then turned the gun on himself. The suspect was a former employee of the business and was fired in April of this year.
Unfortunately, we've seen this play itself out in our community and in other communities across the nation. And it is incumbent upon all of us not to become complacent or become callous.
There are 7 survivors inside the business police are talking to, and none of the survivors were shot. This is a developing situation. We're going to continue to monitor this and bring you updates throughout the newscast as we learn them. Now back here in the Scenic City, you may have already noticed a difference in your commute for the Riverbend Music Festival. It kicks off this weekend, but some roads are already closed in place to get ready for opening night. Riverfront Parkway, the Veterans Bridge southbound off-ramp, and sections of Chestnut Street are closed until Monday the 19th. More streets will shut down on opening night. That is on Friday. Riverbend runs through Saturday, June 17th and ends with a fireworks show as the big finale. We're also a week away from the Bessie Smith Strut. It is next Monday afternoon at 4:30 on ML King Boulevard. It'll cost you $10 to get in or $5 if you have a Riverbend wristband. This year's strut will be emceed by comedian Trisha Rutledge. The celebration is named for the Empress of the Blues and takes place on what was once the Big Nine, known for its thriving music scene. Candidates hoping to become the next Hamilton County Schools superintendent are in town today. There are 5 finalists up for the job, including interim superintendent Dr. Kirk Kelly. While here, each candidate will visit schools and talk to elected officials and stakeholders. You'll have the chance to meet with each candidate at the boardroom on Hickory Valley Road today at 4:30. The new superintendent will be selected at next Thursday's school board meeting. We have a full report plus information about each of the candidates beginning at 5 o'clock today on Eyewitness News. You'll also find more about them inside the WRCB app. Now to Walker County, where town hall meetings start today, and you can learn more about a proposed Canyon Ridge Resort development on Lookout Mountain. The meetings are today and Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Civic Center in Rock Spring. Community reaction so far has been mixed. Officials say the resort would create nearly 200 new jobs. The resort is being planned for the eastern side of Lookout Mountain. The Tennessee Highway Patrol continues to investigate Friday's deadly Interstate 24 crash, and turns out the truck that caused that accident was reported missing last month. A report states 54-year-old Chiduli Jackson of Michigan was driving a semi on I-24 early Friday morning in Marion County when he crossed the median and slammed into another semi. Both drivers were killed. A Knight Transportation spokesperson says the company doesn't even know the driver. The semi had been reported missing. We are continuing to follow this developing story. And still ahead on Eyewitness News at noon, another terror attack in England over the weekend. This one killed 7 people. We'll have the latest on the investigation next. And are you thinking of getting a home voice assistant, like maybe an Amazon Echo? Well, it may surprise you to learn what these things can do. Coming up next on in the newscast, how Alexa can make life easier. We'll be right back. And we turn now to Megyn Kelly's exclusive interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This sit-down with one of the world's most controversial figures aired last night during the debut of NBC's latest news magazine, Sunday Night. Kelly was face-to-face with Putin in St. Petersburg, where she asked him about the controversy surrounding his country's efforts to interfere in our election. Take a look.
President Putin, you have repeatedly and passionately denied that Russia was behind the interference with our American presidential election. But as you know, the consensus view in the United States is that you did. That's what the 17 intelligence agencies concluded, and that's what the Republicans and the Democrats on the congressional oversight committees who have seen the classified report have said. Are they all lying?
They have been misled, and they aren't analyzing the information in its entirety. I haven't seen even once any direct proof of Russian interference in the presidential election in the United States.
You had said for months that Russia had nothing to do with the interference of the American election, and then this week you floated the idea of patriotic hackers doing it. Why the change, and why now?
I hadn't said anything. It's just that French journalist asked me about those hackers. I told him the same thing I can tell you. Hackers can be anywhere. They can be in Russia, in Asia, even in America, Latin America. They can even be hackers, by the way, in the United States, who very skillfully and professionally shifted the blame, as we say, onto Russia. I will tell you something that you probably already know. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but the United States, everywhere, all over the world, actively interferes with the electoral campaigns of other countries. Put your finger anywhere on the map of the world, and everywhere you will hear complaints that American officials are interfering in internal electoral processes.
But with respect, that sounds like a justification.
It doesn't sound like a justification. It sounds like a statement of fact. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. But I repeat, we don't even have to do that. Presidents come and go, and even the parties in power change. But the main political direction does not change. That's why, in the grand scheme of things, we don't care who's the head of the United States. We know more or less what is going to happen. And so in this regard, even if we wanted to, it wouldn't make sense for us to interfere.
There have been questions in America about Donald Trump's finances. He hasn't released his tax returns. There have been questions about this secret Russian dossier, which he says is fake, but which purports to have blackmail information in it generated by the Russians. There have been questions about the communications between the Kremlin and the Trump campaign, all of which has Americans asking, do you have something damaging on our president?
Well, this is just another load of nonsense. Where would we get this information from? Why, did we have some special relationship with him? We didn't have any relationship at all. There was a time when he used to come to Moscow, but you know, I never met with him. We have a lot of Americans who visit us.
That was Megyn Kelly reporting. And by the way, you can catch her new show Sunday Night with Megyn Kelly right here on Channel 3 on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. We could all use a personal assistant to help out around the house, maybe buy some groceries at the supermarket and help manage your family's schedule. Well, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars for that kind of help. A product you can buy at Amazon will do the job. Our consumer technology reporter Jamie Tucker shows us you might be surprised at some of the things these personal assistants can do.
I'll admit, when I first heard about these Echo devices a couple of years ago, I thought that's pretty cool, but who really needs one? Amazon now has made these more helpful than you would have ever dreamed. Yeah, Alexa's got skills.
And that's what Amazon calls the things these Alexa devices can do. Who needs a butler? Watch this.
Order cookies from Amazon Prime.
Amazon's choice for cookies is Nabisco cookie and cracker mix. Would you like to buy it?
If you're an Amazon Prime customer and 2-hour delivery is available, it'll come to your door almost as fast as if you drove to the store yourself.
Shuffle songs from Taylor Swift.
Shuffling songs by Taylor Swift.
Finding and playing music is the top thing people use it for. That's easy, but can your butler do this?
Play that song that goes, have you ever been over to a friend's house to eat?
Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang.
Alexa, add coffee to my shopping list.
It's on your phone when you get to the store. Amazon adds skills every week, and here's the type of thing you can see in the future.
What's for lunch tomorrow at the high school?
Schools like this one in Florida have built their own Alexa skill.
The special at the high school on June 2nd is fresh cheese or veggie pizza or chicken and broccoli Alfredo.
And if you have a Roomba, just ask Alexa to vacuum or mop the kitchen floor.
She can also control lights, a thermostat, security system, even make coffee for you in the morning. But one thing I've noticed Alexa does better than anything is interrupt when you're trying to tell someone about her. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Amazon says more than 10,000 skills are available on the Echo devices, and hundreds more are being released every single week. By the way, we've added our own WRCB skill. Just ask, and Alexa will read your headlines to you for the day. Coming up on Eyewitness News at noon, a look at the series between the Nashville Preds and Pittsburgh Penguins. Plus, several big names take the stage at an Ariana Grande benefit concert to raise money for victims of the attack 2 weeks ago. We'll be right back. Let's check in now with our sports headlines with Paul Shaheen, who is keeping up with the Predators in Nashville as they fight for the Stanley Cup.
Welcome to game day in Nashville, and through 3 games we have seen just about everything. 50,000 fans outside this Bridgestone Arena, a catfish-related arrest, and yes, now bad blood because of bad breath. We will get to that, but first, Nashville has a chance to even the series up 2 games apiece with Pittsburgh tonight on NBC at 8 o'clock. If they want to do so, they're going to have to take a page out of Game 3's book, where they limited both Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin of the Pittsburgh Penguins to 0 shots on goal.
I thought they created some opportunities, but you know, when we had breakdowns, I think Pex was there, and I think we did a pretty good job as a 5-man unit of trying to limit those opportunities, and we're going to have to continue that. I mean, they're great players. I don't think you can ever shut those guys down, but you try to, you know, take away their time and space and contain them as the best as you can, and I'm sure they're going to make adjustments, and we'll have to be prepared for those.
Now to the fun stuff. More drama, and it is not catfish related. This one is about bad breath, and yes, I promise we're still talking hockey. After Game 3, Nashville defenseman PK Subban said that Sidney Crosby was talking trash about Subban's bad breath.
I mean, you can't be perfect, you know. I mean, there's things I got to work on. I guess making sure my breath smells good on the ice is one of them.
Sidney Crosby later had a chance to respond, saying that PK made the story up because he likes attention. Our Stanley Cup final coverage from Nashville continues all day. Remember, Game 4 tonight, 8 p.m. right here on NBC. The Predators have a chance to even the series with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Inside Bridgestone Arena, I'm Paul Shaheen, Channel 3 Eyewitness Sports.
Be sure to keep it right here. We'll have more from Paul in Nashville coming up in the next half hour. He's been in Bridgestone all morning and will bring us the very latest. Time now to talk weather, and a lot of you are seeing some scattered rain out there. Let's head over to Nick.
We do have rain scattered all across the Tennessee Valley. Skies are cloudy over the city. Our last little batch of rain is past us, but still other areas getting scattered showers and some thunderstorms out there too. It's mostly north and east of the city and also moving through Murray County down in Georgia right now. That's where the heaviest rain is, and there might be a few rumbles of thunder. Cold front, a lot of energy in the upper atmosphere as well, plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, and will continue. There's a low pressure system connected to that low sitting out over Texas right now. And this whole system will continue just moving over the Tennessee Valley and North Georgia and out towards Murphy over the next several hours and into tonight. So through the rest of the day, we'll see more off and on rain, and then we'll see more scattered showers and storms through the nighttime as well. It'll start to really wind down late tonight. We might just see a couple of spots of rain here and there on Tuesday, especially for the morning hours. But we'll clear out nicely and dry out nicely tomorrow afternoon and evening. The blue arrows here indicating cooler and also drier winds coming into the area. So we're going to see some really, really nice weather for the rest of the work week, especially after tomorrow morning and afternoon. 74 in the city now, 77 Cleveland, down in Dalton at 73. Athens and Dayton also at 73. It's not too windy, southwesterly winds here in the city around 6 miles an hour. Pollen count is low at just 21. It's mainly just grass pollen. But keep your umbrellas handy for the afternoon. We'll have more occasional showers and some thunderstorms out there with a high of 82 in the city. More scattered showers and storms off and on through tonight as the cold front moves through. 66 for that low. And your 7-day forecast, a little bit of rain possibly on Tuesday, but that's mainly early in the day, and then we'll dry out through the afternoon with a high of 81. Really, really nice weather Wednesday through Friday with highs in the low to mid 80s, but less humid. Not as much mugginess after tomorrow, with lows dropping into the 50s. It'll be nice. And it looks like Friday night, first night of Riverbend, I don't think there'll be any rain. At least at this point, it looks like no rain. And it won't be excessively muggy either, like it has been in a lot of past years. It'll be fairly comfortable.
That'll be a relief. I know people will be happy about that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Nick.
You bet.
British counterterrorism investigators have searched homes and detained a number of people in the investigation into a van and knife attack in the heart of London over the weekend that left 7 people dead. NBC's Bill Neely reports from London.
Dramatic new video of police confronting 3 killers. One man trying to survive as officers fire volleys of gunfire at the men who'd left dozens dead and injured.
I'm trying to keep myself safe.
Dozens more running for their lives.
I just saw the 2 guys getting shot.
Officers killing the attackers within minutes.
We do believe we know who they are. We've made a number of arrests.
Police are searching more homes this morning and investigating a claim by ISIS that it was responsible. The carnage began just before 10 o'clock Saturday night. Terrorists driving their van onto London Bridge. At 10:08, police got the first call that the van had mounted the sidewalk, ramming into pedestrians. When it stopped on the south side of the bridge, 3 men jumped out. They ran into crowded Borough Market, stabbing people, some multiple times, targeting drinkers at the Southwark Tavern and diners at Black and Blue restaurant. Just 8 minutes after they were called, police fired 50 shots, killing all 3 attackers outside the Wheatsheaf pub. After the Saturday slaughter, the Monday morning commute at London Bridge. The security heavy, the anxiety real. Well, Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May has now confirmed that all 3 attackers have been identified. She's under pressure, so too the police. Remember, this is the 3rd deadly attack in Britain in the last 3 months. The fear now of more copycat killings. Back to you.
One of those terror attacks was in Manchester, where a suicide bomber killed 22 people outside the arena where pop star Ariana Grande performed. Ariana Grande headlined a star-studded benefit concert in England yesterday for victims of last month's suicide bombing. Artists Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus, and bands Take That and Coldplay joined Grande on the stage. This concert raised money for the We Love Manchester Emergency Fund. Still to come on Eyewitness News at noon, a look at what's trending online. And check this out, a tornado. Why it's going viral. We'll have that story coming up.
Go Nashville. We're proud you made it to the finals. Channel 3's live coverage sponsored by Warren and Griffin, 265 Hurt.
She's an A-list actress and he's a chart-topping country singer. But when it comes to the Stanley Cup final, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are Predators fans. The Nashville-based stars put on their home team jerseys and cheered at Bridgestone Arena for the Game 3 face-off on Saturday. Urban's enthusiasm even spilled over to social media with an Instagram post celebrating their hashtag Preds Pride and hashtag Smashville. It's not just this power couple, though. You have Carrie Underwood, who is married to Captain Mike Fisher, and you will always find a handful of celebrities in her suite. Who will sing the national anthem? There are rumors. It could be Tim and Faith tonight. Yes. A little duo country action. I know people on social media are really excited about that possibility, so we'll have to wait and see if that turns out to be the case.
I'm sure they're all going to be there again tonight.
Oh, definitely. Huge night there.
Be a good surprise. Hope they pull off that win. Okay, to the weather. A little weather story here. Yep. There was an incredible photo that went viral from Alberta, Canada. So check this out. This is a tornado. It's pretty impressive. And look at the guy just kind of mowing his lawn there in the foreground. He's kind of small compared to that tornado, but you can see him there. Anyway, later on he said that the tornado wasn't actually as close as it appears in the photo. And I'm just going to venture to say, although I have not inspected this photo myself.
What's your expert opinion?
It might be a fake, but I can't say for sure. Some of these types of photos have been doctored before, and there are certain ways you can tell, but I have not looked at this one myself. So I can't say for sure whether it's real, but it's still a good looking photo anyway.
And it's trending online. So people are at least looking at that picture, and I love how his back is to the storm. He really has no idea if in fact this is a storm headed his way.
It looks like he has no clue, and you know, he says, well, it was really further away than it looks, but it looks close enough.
It does.
Too close for comfort that if you weren't paying attention, you're going to be in trouble.
Oh, scary stuff.
But a neat photo nonetheless.
It really is. Well, we'll be back with more news and weather and more Preds news on the other side of this break. We will see you then.
With coverage you can count.
We, within the law enforcement community,
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at noon.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Eyewitness News at noon. I'm Lori Mitchell. We'll check in with Nick Austin, who is tracking the rain in just a moment. But first, our top stories. We begin with breaking news this half hour. A shooting at a business in Orlando has left 5 people dead. Officials say it happened at a worldwide business that provides accessories to RVs. 3 men and 1 woman were pronounced dead on scene, and a 5th person was taken to the hospital and later died. Officials say the gunman shot 5 people, then turned the gun on himself. The suspect was a former employee of the business and was fired in April of this year.
we, within the law enforcement community, both federal, state, and local, have increased our concerns and our response and our analytical capabilities during this period of time. So we cannot, again, connect this incident. It appears that this incident has nothing to do with any global terror activities.
We're told there were 7 others inside the business who police are talking to. None of them were shot. This is a developing situation. As soon as we continue to get updates into our newsroom, we will be sure to pass them along to you. Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam is in the Scenic City today to sign the Improve Act. It'll fund nearly 1,000 road projects across the state, including 21 right here in the Hamilton County area. It's paid for by some changes to our taxes. We'll pay more at the gas pump, but save a little at the grocery store starting next month. The I-24 and I-75 split is near the top of the Improve Act's list. Governor Haslam signed the bill at the Welcome Center on I-75 near the Tennessee-Georgia state line this morning. For a full list of the projects in our area, you can visit WRCBTV.com. More now on the delay of the TN Ready test scores. The results were supposed to arrive in time to be included in report card grades for students, but that didn't happen. Then Hamilton County school officials told us they were supposed to be in by today. Hamilton County principals have now been told scores will be delivered to the state by next week.
I don't understand the point of it now that they're not included in their final scores.
That's the reaction from parents we talked to. This is not the first time there have been issues with TN Ready. Last year, the servers crashed and the online test was a failure. The test vendor, Quastar, released a statement saying this is not the Tennessee Department of Education's fault and the vendor takes complete responsibility. Now back here in the scenic city, you may have already noticed a difference in your daily commute for the Riverbend Music Festival. It kicks off this weekend, but some road closures are already in place to get ready for opening night. Riverfront Parkway, the Veterans Bridge southbound off-ramp, and sections of Chestnut Street are closed until Monday the 19th. More streets will shut down on opening night. That is Friday. Riverbend runs through Saturday, June 17th and ends with a fireworks show as the big finale. In Marion County, a man drowned at a state park and his friend is in the hospital. Sheriff Bo Burnett says it happened at Foster Falls on Sunday. He tells us a 23-year-old man and a 30-year-old man were visiting from Atlanta. The younger man apparently went underwater and his friend tried to save him but wasn't able to. The 30-year-old was taken to the hospital. We're still waiting to find out his condition. Officers are investigating the second death within a week at Little River Canyon. Investigators say an 18-year-old drowned Friday afternoon. Witnesses say the Georgia teen was swimming with his friends when he went underwater. They called 911.
There's a sign there that says that there are deaths every year here from people not following the rules.
The name of the teen has not been released. Recently, a man from Rome, Georgia, crossed over a safety barrier to take a picture and he fell to his death. A string of car break-ins near a popular mall has police telling people to be careful. According to the Dalton Police Department, there have been 8 car break-ins in the last week. Most of them happened near the Walnut Square Mall. Police say thieves are breaking windows when they see valuable items sitting inside cars. Anyone with information about the break-ins should call the Dalton Police Department. Kids and teens who get free or reduced lunch during the school year can still get free meals this summer. Families just need to know where to find them. Any child 18 and younger can eat free at designated sites for summer meals across the country. This summer, the USDA plans to serve more than 200 million free meals to children on the approved summer food service program. To find a location in your community, you can call 1-866-3-HUNGRY. There is no enrollment and no cost. This week's 3 in Your Town takes us right down the street to Georgia Avenue and McCauley in downtown Chattanooga to the one-time location of the Big Stone Church. A steeple still stands as a marker for the First Methodist Episcopal Church. The Chattanooga Public Library helped us learn a little history about this beacon of faith. Take a look.
This is the Beacon of Faith. At one time, this stone steeple represented grace and salvation to many newcomers to Chattanooga.
During the latter days of the Civil War, people who had come here because they were working in our industries wanted their own branch of the Methodist Church. Back then you had the northern branch and the southern branch. So these were northerners who wanted their own denomination here. When they had a modest frame building at the corner of Pine and West Streets, dreams of a big stone church that would overlook the town and become a beacon of faith were born.
For 20 years, the First Methodist Episcopal Church was built, finally being dedicated on May 31st, 1885.
By all accounts from these remarkable pictures that you have in your archives, this was an absolutely beautiful, beautiful church.
It was, and in fact, Centenary Methodist Church built a better building to compete with First Methodist Church.
When First Methodist was built, there were only 5 churches in Chattanooga, none of which were Methodist Episcopal. Years later, that was not the case.
The First Methodist Church was had a lot of cash, but its membership was dwindling.
Gotcha.
Whereas the other church, the Centenary Methodist, had really nice property and a huge membership, but not the cash that the other church
So
had.
for self-preservation, they decided to consolidate.
It made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a mutually respectful competition, and you know they were of the same faith,
Right.
and so they united.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they pretty much had the same structural outline, the Bible, for what they should be kind of preaching and teaching, and then everything else is kind of economics after that, I suppose.
In 1967, both churches joined congregation, and the decision to tear down the old stone church was made.
Remarkable archive system that you guys have.
Well, thank you.
This is really quite the education.
Well, thank you so much.
That was John Martin reporting. Again, thanks to the Chattanooga Public Library for your help. And if any of you have pictures of First Methodist Episcopal Church or any other historic photos of our area, please contact the Downtown Library to help expand their archives. Switching gears
cool
now,
story.
talking about weather.
That's right.
We've had some rain in the area. Is flooding a concern at all?
And there's a little more rain moving back through the city right
Oh.
now. We stayed dry for like 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah,
but,
short time.
We'll take a look outside. Flooding is a concern mainly across North Georgia. There's a flood watch.
Okay.
Which means there's flooding potential with more heavy rain later today and tonight across all of North Georgia. But specifically for the Chattooga River near Somerville, they have just issued a flood warning for areas near Somerville along the river. It's above flood stage right now, so it's going to take until probably tomorrow evening or maybe even a little longer for it to recede. So be careful down there. Right here over the city, cloudy skies, and on the radar, another little batch of rain moving through, but the bulk of the scattered showers are moving off to the north and east of the city right now through Polk counties and into northeast Georgia. But we could see more later on today and into tonight with highs in the lower 80s later this afternoon, so keep your umbrellas handy.
And then a cool down coming up a
It'll be
little later.
really nice tomorrow afternoon through the rest of the week, yeah.
We'll look forward to that.
You
Thank
bet.
you, Nick. Coming up on Eyewitness News at noon, Britain's Prime Minister is raising eyebrows by saying there's been too much tolerance of extremism. Who does she say is to blame? We'll have that story when we come back.
This morning,
Britain's prime minister is raising eyebrows by saying there's been, quote, too much tolerance of extremism and calling out U.S. tech companies for not doing enough to stop it. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports.
This morning, the UK's third major terrorist attack in 3 months is causing the British to take a hard look inward.
There is, to be frank, far too much tolerance of extremism in our country.
And Prime Minister Theresa May is pointing her finger at US-based tech companies for not doing enough to weed out extremists in cyberspace.
We cannot allow this ideology the safe space it needs to breed. Yet that is precisely what the internet and the big companies that provide internet-based services provide.
This local imam agrees.
The present-day terrorists don't find radicalizations from the mosques anymore. They find them on the social medias. Imams don't have a control on that. Google does.
But Google, Twitter, and Facebook say they've been cracking down on jihadist material for years. In a statement to NBC News, Google writes they share the government's commitment to ensuring terrorists do not have a voice online. Twitter says in the second half of 2016, it suspended more than 376,000 accounts for violations related to the promotion of terrorism. And Facebook responds, we work aggressively to remove terrorist content from our platform as soon as we become aware of it. Former Secretary of State John Kerry says that while Silicon Valley has a responsibility, the blame ultimately lies with the terrorists.
If you turn around and just blame that message exclusively on the internet, we're making an enormous mistake. And if we reach too far without being sensitive to our own values, we give them an extraordinary victory.
Digital privacy groups argue giving up freedom online is dangerous for democracy.
It puts us in the unfortunate position of having the government on the same side as the terrorists. We're basically burning the village to save the village.
And that was Gabe Gutierrez reporting. Some analysts say that while social media companies like Twitter and Facebook have been cooperative, many of these jihadists are moving toward encrypted message apps like WhatsApp, which is owned by Facebook, and Telegram. The real problem, some say, is not tech companies, but it's what they see as a lack in the number of police officers. A new case regarding the digital issues of digital technology and privacy rights will soon be heard in the Supreme Court. The justices have agreed to consider whether police need warrants to review cell phone tower records to help them track a suspect. The case will be heard in the Supreme Court's next term. It involves an appeal from a man sentenced to 116 years in prison after cell phone records placed him in the vicinity of several armed robberies. In that case, police did not obtain warrants based on probable cause, but instead requested the records under the Stored Communications Act. Now, justices will decide whether police should have to demonstrate good reason or probable cause to believe the man was involved in the crime. Harley-Davidson is recalling about 46,000 motorcycles in the United States. An oil line can come loose and spew oil into the path of the rear tire, increasing the risk of an accident. The recall involves certain 2017 Electra Glide, Road King, Street Glide, and Road Glide models. Dealers will inspect and fix the problem free of charge. As hot as the U.S. real estate market is right now, there's another area of housing that's also growing. Although these homeowners aren't moving anywhere, but are deciding to stay put. Details now from NBC's Chris Clackham.
Surveys and studies are showing that home remodeling is more preferable these days to home relocation.
So it's going to be a busy year for remodelers and for home improvement companies.
Nearly 3 out of 4 homeowners surveyed by Angie's List are planning a remodeling project this year, while a Harvard Center for Housing study anticipates healthy growth in remodeling, big and small, through 2025.
If you're getting ready to move, you want to stick with the smaller things. But if you're actually going to be in your house for 4 or 5 years, investing in that big remodel could be money really well spent.
And speaking of spending, redoing the kitchen's the most popular and most expensive remodeling project.
2016 data from House found that it's just shy of $20,000 was the average.
CNBC's Kelly Grant recently broke down data from the remodeling website House on what consumers spent on remodeling projects last year, with bathroom redos costing on average $12,000. She says not to expect a full return on your investment.
You end up recouping, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 70% back in terms of added value.
These surveys also show the vast majority of consumers pay cash for remodeling projects to avoid financing costs. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Time now to check our forecast. Let's head over to Nick Austin, who's in for David Carnes. Hi there, Nick.
Hi, Lori. Cloudy skies, a little more rain just moved through the city, but the bulk of it is off to our north and east as far as the scattered showers, some of the heavy downpours. There have been a few spots of lightning, but the bulk of it is now moving through Fannin County, Georgia, up into Polk County, Tennessee, and scooting further off to the east. Up to the north and west, it's starting to become a little bit lighter as far as the rainfall. We'll continue to see breaks from the rain off and on through the day, and it'll keep coming back from time to time as well. Cold front, upper level energy, lots of moisture in the atmosphere, low pressure back to our west, pulling all that moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico, and we're going to see the rain just off and on. That faucet's not going to really turn off for a while until about tomorrow around midday. But it's keeping the pollen numbers low. 21 is the latest pollen count, and it's mostly just grass pollen. We're pretty much done with the tree pollen for the season. So that's good news. We'll get more off and on showers through the rest of today and through the evening and nighttime too, to keep washing a little more of that pollen away. But it's going to keep the road slick, so just be careful out there. We could see some heavy thunderstorms and some more heavy downpours from time to time in some spots too, so we have to watch out for the possibility of some more localized flooding. Right now, North Georgia is under a flood watch. Chattooga River near Somerville, a flood warning at this hour, but we're going to dry out nicely tomorrow, especially during the afternoon tomorrow and into the evening. Wednesday is looking really good as well, and we'll see some nice cooler nights ahead with less mugginess. That's going to be nice too. 74 in the city right now, 77 Dalton, Athens is 75, Blue Ridge, Georgia 71, and just winds out of the southwest at just 6 miles an hour. But if you get under a storm later, those winds could gust a little higher. We'll see more off and on showers with some storms, 82 for the high, scattered showers and storms tonight with a low of 66. And we're looking good on the 7-day forecast, especially after tomorrow morning, where we could see a few more raindrops. We'll dry out nicely with a high of 81 tomorrow afternoon, dropping into the 50s late tomorrow night. We'll have a few nights in the 50s, so that'll feel nice. And then high on Wednesday, just 81, 80 on Thursday, really nice. And even by Friday afternoon at the start of Riverbend, only in the mid-80s, and it won't be super, super muggy for that first night. And we probably won't see any rain, it looks like, either for Friday night.
I know everybody has their eye on that 7-day forecast.
That's right,
People heading to Riverbend and a lot going on this weekend.
And I can't promise there won't be any rain at all this weekend, but at least at this point, at this time, it looks like the first night on Friday night will be rain-free.
We will hope that doesn't change.
I hope not either.
Thank you, Nick.
You bet.
Coming up on Eyewitness News at noon, we will have live coverage from Nashville with sports director Paul Shaheen. He's at Bridgestone Arena following the latest with the Preds. We'll be right back. It's a big day in Nashville as the Predators host the Penguins for Game 4. Let's go live now to Channel 3 Sports Director Paul Shaheen. He is inside Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. What an exciting weekend you had, Paul. Looked like a great atmosphere, and I'm sure it's going to be the same, if not a bigger crowd tonight.
Yes, I would expect exactly the same. A little rain this morning. That seems to be out of the way here in Nashville. They're opening amphitheaters downtown to accommodate the crowd that can't make it into the arena. Obviously, another sellout crowd for Game 4 tonight. And the best part about it, well, I've said this all week, there's two best parts about it. It's on NBC tonight at 8. And yes, we will be here for the game. Our coverage continues of the Stanley Cup Final in Nashville. The Nashville Predators wrapped up their morning skate, I'd say, about 45 minutes ago. The Pittsburgh Penguins are on the ice right now. Just a few of them left wrapping up their morning skate behind me. Obviously, their two stars, talking about the Pens, Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, weren't on the ice per the norm for morning skates. Peter Laviolette, Nashville head coach, joked that Crosby and Malkin will probably light it up with shots today because us, the media, we've made such a big deal out of Crosby and Malkin being held without a shot in game number 3. So there's one storyline to look forward to. Obviously, plenty more storylines. We're going to hit all of them at 5, 5:30, and 6, leading up to the 8 p.m. puck drop on NBC tonight. So after going down 2-0 to open the series, the race to 4 continues tonight, and the Predators can even the series at 2 games apiece with a win. Lori, back to you.
Paul, there's been a lot of drama so far. First, we had a catfish arrest. Then we had talk about a player with bad breath. What's next?
That is a great question. What is next? You know, joking in the media room with a lot of the writers and sportscasters in there, they're saying, you know, they've covered a lot of Stanley Cup Final, and they've never had to do this much off-the-ice coverage. But it has been entertaining, and I'll tell you what, the ratings on NBC and NBC Sports Network, they've been amazing. A lot of people are now paying attention to this final, so hey, bring on the next off-ice hockey topic. Maybe it'll drum up some more coverage for us.
Can't wait to see what will happen there tonight. All right, Paul, thanks so much. Have a great time, and we'll see you a little bit later on Eyewitness News. And we'll be back right after this break.
We're proud you made it to the finals. Channel 3's live coverage, sponsored by Warren and Griffin, 265 Hurt.
So, you know, it's just like anything, you know, something's been the same for so long. And
Well, have you heard of Aladdin, Wyoming? Probably not. It's pretty small and it's been for sale, but an auction this weekend did not bring in the high bids they were hoping for. There was a large crowd, much longer than Aladdin, population of just 15. The center of the town is located on 10+ acres and has a general store, a gas pump, bar, and a post office. It was originally listed at $1.5 million, but the store sold in a bundled deal over the weekend at the peak bid price of just $500,000.
So, you know, it's just like anything, you know, something's been the same for so long and you're happy with it, you hate to see the change. So, yeah, we have no intention of changing nothing.
The town motel and cafe were also up for auction, but didn't receive the bids necessary to sell. So a nice little quaint town, about $1 million short. So not exactly what they were looking for in the auction this weekend.
Little is an understatement.
Yeah.
Population 15?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's small.
Well,
interesting story, though.
Yeah, it is. A cute story. And you can hear the rain on the roof of the WRCB studio. It's raining so hard now in Chattanooga.
Right. Here it is. I don't know if we have a last quick look at the radar, but right over North Chattanooga, Elder Mountain, and Red Bank area, it's coming down pretty hard, and we'll see more off and on rain through the rest of today and tonight. It will be heavy at times. Be careful.
Have a great day, everyone.